Hey, Sunny buddy, what are you doing over there? Buddy. Hey, Sunny buddy. I love you, buddy. What are you doing up there? You found a new spot to hang out on? Hey, buddy. Sunny. What? I'm trying to get your attention. I love you. I love you, buddy. Hey, awesome friends. I am Awesome Danny. You know my deadbeat associate, Sonny McSunderson. Anyways, today I want to tell you about the next generation of Rikubuds, which were set to release today, which I have right here. The third generation of Rikubuds are starting off with the Alter Rider 3, which Riku did send in for me to review, but you already know the drill. They don't tell me what to say, and if they do, then we don't do the review, right? All right, so let's get started. All right, so before we continue, just a reminder that if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 500 subscribers at the time of recording this video, and we are shooting for 1,000 by the end of the year. If I do not make it to 1,000 by the end of the year, I will start reviewing something else instead of audio products. Comment in the comments section what you would like to see me review instead of headphones or IEMs and earbuds if we don't make it to 1,000 subscribers. All right, so let's get started with the Alter Rider 3. So anybody that has gotten any Rikubuds before will instantly recognize the familiar packaging. It doesn't seem like packaging has changed much. I mean, I love the logo branding on the case, simplistic, probably easy to get anywhere around the world, or shipped out anywhere around the world, which makes perfect sense. So in the box itself, you get your earbuds. Sunny hairs are not included. You get 3 different types of foams from him. So I did ask him about these foams. So these are, black is low density, red is medium density, and white is high density. And this is also what he used while tuning these. So this is intended sound, and then these are options. As you can see, I did use all 3 and gave them each a good amount of listening time. So as far as the build goes on the Rikubuds, cable is the same, I believe, as like the Lancer 1 that I tried. Very simple, pretty nice color, solid, decent build. But we have a completely custom shell this time around. So this shell is very ergonomic. The stem is rounded off. The head itself is kind of flat, and it fits very, very well. The fit on these is amazing, and that's probably why I actually had a pretty good experience with these, because the fit is so good that it really helps the bass extension and just trying to get as much quality sound out of them as possible. All right, so going over the foams a bit, and I'll get into details when we go over the sound breakdown, but foams themselves, I actually started off with the white ones, then tried the red ones for the medium density, and then tried the black ones, the low density. Personally, my favorite ones turned out to be the low density, which basically fixed a nitpick I had with the original, I guess, intended tuning, but at the sacrifice of the bass quantity, because with the thicker foam, it filters out the higher end frequencies and lets the lower end frequencies through, which in turn emphasizes those. With the lower density, it does less of that, so it allows more of the higher frequencies through, easier pass through, which balances it out. I would consider this, with the low density foams, overall have a sub bass focused neutral bright signature, which I actually personally enjoy, but I know that some people like Riku for the bass that he brings. His house sound is usually focused more on the mid bass and the sub bass. These had really good bass extension. Again, might have been because of the fit. All right, so getting into the details of the bass itself. Bass, like I mentioned, probably due to the fit, is very well extended. I got plenty of sub bass, rumble. It's not a high quantity, but it extends very well. So anything with sub bass, it was present. It wasn't an intense rumble that you can really feel, but it was there, and I personally prefer that over something that's just more, intrusive and too much that can mask the rest of the sound signature. I would prefer it to be able to hear it and feel it, but not it overwhelm everything else. And it's a very steady glide down into the mids from the sub bass. The sub bass, again, it's not very much, but it's enough for me. And then it's a slow glide into the mid bass, which the mid bass is present, but it's very light. It's very polite, light. You hear it fine. And then the mids kind of stay linear a bit, but then towards the end of the lower mids, there is a rise, which is where the issue with the foams came in. It seems like there's an early rise and then it kind of plateaus. So the rise is in the lower mids and then it kind of just plateaus into the upper mids. So there's not a lot of upper mid intensity, for example, in female vocals, which I prefer, or which I listen to a lot of female vocals. So it's similar to something like, I guess, the SA6 from Dunu, kind of like that anti-shout tuning where it just cuts through straight across the upper mids instead of rising up too much. So vocals are there, they're not intense, they're not shouty, but due to the early rise in the lower mids, female vocals sound, I guess, husky is the term, honky, just a little weird. It throws off some of them, and the thing is, it's not consistent. It was just some tracks, like for example, Beyonce, her voice sounded very weird. I did not enjoy it at all. I mean, I don't think I've ever enjoyed any of her music or her voice in general, so no change there, but it just sounded off. Her vocal timbre was weird, off. It did not feel accurate. Again, since most of my library is female vocals, a lot of them were fine. It was like 80-90% of them were fine. It's just whenever that did come across, it just sounded a little weird. And going into the upper mids, anti-shout type of tuning, so the upper mids are cut, but then it glides up into the treble, which I would say it's a very bright, sparkly treble, and then into the air. So due to the tuning, it being, you know, pretty level all throughout the mids, it's or just low throughout the mids, and then the rise into the treble makes it very airy, open, and sparkly. Treble can be a little splashy, but it's nice. You're getting a lot of micro details because of it, and we'll get more into the text later. I could see where some people might consider this a fatiguing listen after a while. I was able to go, you know, a few hours with them and be fine, but I tend to be more tolerable of the intense type of tuning. So any upper mid intensity or spicy treble is usually fine with me, but just putting it out there, treble is a little spicy. It brings out a lot more of those details, but could be fatiguing. And then air, it has decent amount of air, and because of the cut through the upper mids and the delayed rise into the treble, just makes it feel very open and airy. It's very reminiscent of the TGX ears Seratus. There's just a little bit more that the Seratus does still, but again, like, this is what, half the price of the Seratus. All right, so now getting into the text. So the dynamics are there. I wouldn't say these are very dynamic. They are acceptable. I'm able to, you know, there's a good amount of layering. There is a good amount of separation as well. Macro details and separation could be a little bit better. Imaging is pretty good. I'm able to, you know, follow stuff very well, track things very well. It's just, they could be a little bit refined better, a little more concise. But again, the micro detailing is pretty good. Like, it's picking up a lot of little details, a lot of little sparkles. But overall, the sound signature does lack some note weight. So the overall, they sound light, airy, kind of floaty. They're like splashing you with a lot of details, but not much note weight. It's just, it reminds me a lot of, I guess, like a Moondrop type house sound. You're getting good analytical listening experience, but some people might not consider it as musical, or might be missing, you know, some bass, some thump, some body to the sound. But again, this is all with the black phones, because it helped fix that vocal issue I had with these. As Riku intended them to be tuned, bass has a lot more body. The mids are a lot, you know, they're a lot thicker. They're more present. Everything has better note weights, and that's kind of the cool thing about buds, that the foams actually make a very huge difference with tuning. I just hate putting foams on. I freaking hate it. It's one of my least favorite things in my life at this point. But anyways, all right, so in conclusion, overall, we have Alter Rider 3. I actually personally enjoy this set. It makes for a fun listen. It is amazing. I can wear it out. It's one of the few buds where I can just stick them on and actually go out and about and do things with them on and not have to worry or readjust too much. Note weight is a little light. Details are very good, sparkly, more of an analytical listen with good sub bass extension. Really worked out for my library. A lot of my K-pop or weeb music was still pretty good, fun. Probably would like, I guess, a little bit more warmth or thickness in the mids, just to even it out. If we were to compare this to the Alpha 3, which we reviewed recently, those are very warm compared to these. They do have they have a lot of note weight, and they complement each other very well. I would be pressed to choose one or the other. It's like if you give me both and you're like, yeah, you can only have one, well, it's like, well, this is very different than Alpha 3, and Alpha 3 is very different than this. Alpha 3, if you like that mid bass, you like that warmth, and you want a little bit less fatiguing listen since it has dark treble and not as sharp micro details, then go with Alpha 3. If you want something more concise, more analytical, and brings more of the sound out, but is lighter, airier, open, then you go with the Ultra Rider 3. I really don't think you can go wrong with either one. It's just a matter of preference, which one sounds like more your preference. So 100 euros, a few euros, I think usually around 10 for shipping. They are released today, Friday the 14th. I know I was late with the video. Real life got in the way and I had to, wait on a new camera, which is this one that you're looking at right now. Let me know how it looks. I needed to replace, and then I took the opportunity to upgrade. So let me know how it looks, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and ask any questions in the comments. If I left anything out, I can try to get back to everybody. But I am Awesome Danny, and until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.